Discipline is not something that can be borrowed, bought, or found in a book. It is not something someone else can give you. It is built in silence, far away from praise, far away from applause. It begins in your mind in the quiet decisions you make every single day when no one is watching. Every moment you choose to rise instead of sleep, focus instead of scroll, work instead of delay, you are laying a brick in the foundation of your future. Discipline is the invisible force that separates those who dream from those who do. It is not glamorous, it is not loud, it does not need recognition, but it is powerful. It is what turns desire into results and hope into achievement. If you want to change your life, you must first change your habits. But to change your habits, you must discipline your thoughts. Because every action you take is a reflection of what you've been feeding your mind. Most people wait until they feel ready. They wait for the right mood, the right time, the right motivation. But those who succeed don't wait. They decide. They take action even when they don't feel like it. That's what discipline is. It's doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it. It's showing up when it's hard, when it's boring, when no one is clapping for you. Discipline is a commitment to your future self. It is proof that you value your vision more than your comfort. It is easy to talk about goals, to get excited about plans, to imagine success. But the road between vision and reality is paved with discipline. No shortcuts, no exceptions. Every time you choose your higher self over your impulses, you grow stronger. Every time you ignore the voice that tells you to quit, you move closer to greatness. You don't become disciplined overnight. It's not a switch you flip. It's a fire you build, slowly, consistently, until it becomes part of who you are. You start small, you make your bed, you stick to a schedule, you keep promises to yourself. And with each disciplined act, you send a message to your mind: I am in control. I am the master, not the servant. I lead. I do not follow my moods. The truth is, most people know what they need to do, but very few are willing to do it every single day. That's why the disciplined win. Not because they're smarter, not because they're more talented, but because they are willing to do the boring things consistently. They are willing to endure discomfort. They are willing to delay gratification. They are willing to be misunderstood, judged, even doubted, because they know where they're going. They have trained their minds to obey purpose, not emotion. That is the difference. That is the edge. Success doesn't happen in one big moment. It is the quiet accumulation of disciplined decisions stacked day after day, year after year. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you need extraordinary discipline. You need to protect your time like gold. You need to reject distractions like poison. You need to stop explaining yourself and start proving yourself. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is the greatest act of self-respect. It is the choice to act in alignment with your values, not your feelings. When you understand that, everything changes. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop waiting for permission. You start building yourself into the kind of person success cannot ignore. And when that happens, you realize something powerful. Discipline doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates it. Because when your mind is disciplined, your life is no longer controlled by chaos. It is driven by vision. It is guided by purpose. It is built on strength. And that is where real success begins. Time is not just passing. It's being traded. Every second of your life is an investment, whether you realize it or not. The way you spend your time determines the quality of your results. Most people treat time as if it's unlimited, wasting hours on distractions, meaningless conversations, or scrolling through things that add no value. But successful minds understand something different. Time is more expensive than money. You can always make more money, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. That's why mental discipline begins with how you treat time. When your mind is disciplined, you no longer allow time to be stolen by things that don't move you forward. You begin to measure your hours, your minutes, with clarity. You ask, is this getting me closer to who I want to become? And if the answer is no, you walk away. Undisciplined people live in reaction. They let the day control them. Instead of deciding how their day will go, they're pulled in every direction because they haven't set clear boundaries. But mental discipline changes everything. It forces you to become intentional. You stop wasting time on things that entertain you but don't elevate you. You cut off distractions that drain your focus. You stop over-explaining your dreams to people who don't understand them. You start using your time like the precious currency it is. Every hour becomes sacred. Every decision becomes strategic. You no longer ask what feels good right now. You ask what builds the future you want. Those who achieve massive success don't have more time than you. They just refuse to waste it. They don't scroll aimlessly. They don't jump from one task to another without direction. They protect their time with intensity because they know what's at stake. Discipline teaches you to use time like a weapon, not a weakness. You stop thinking in days or weeks. You start thinking in outcomes. You don't chase quick highs. You build lasting value. You realize that every wasted hour is a step backward, and every focused hour is a step ahead. In the end, it's not about being busy. It's about being aligned. And alignment is born from mental discipline. You cannot chase success with an untrained mind. The mind is the command center of your life, and if it is undisciplined, every area of your life will suffer. Before you build a successful business, career, or future, you must first build a powerful inner world. You must train your mind to think clearly, to focus intensely, and to resist the pull of comfort and chaos. Most people never reach their potential because their mind is filled with noise, doubt, fear, distractions, and limiting beliefs. They try to force results without first mastering the thoughts that lead to those results. But your outer world will always be a reflection of your inner discipline. If your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. If your thinking is scattered, your efforts will be scattered. Real growth begins when you take control of what you allow yourself to think. You must treat your mind like a muscle. It needs repetition. It needs challenge. It needs training. You wouldn't expect your body to become strong by accident, and the same applies to your thinking. When your mind is left untrained, it will default to laziness, fear, and distraction. But when you discipline it, something powerful happens. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You stop second-guessing yourself and start moving with confidence. You stop waiting for the world to change and start changing your thoughts to change your world. That is the core of mental discipline, becoming the architect of your thinking instead of the prisoner of it. Everything you want starts with a disciplined mind. You cannot build wealth, freedom, or greatness with scattered thoughts and emotional decisions. You must direct your focus like a laser. You must challenge your own excuses and destroy the mental patterns that hold you back. Discipline means choosing to think powerfully, even when doubt tries to creep in. It means replacing fear with faith, confusion with clarity, and weakness with strength. Once your mind is trained to obey your higher self, success becomes natural. You don't force it. You attract it. Because when your thoughts are strong, your actions follow, and your life begins to reflect the power you've built within. Distractions are the enemies of greatness. They don't always come in obvious forms. Sometimes they disguise themselves as urgent tasks, endless notifications, or even people who drain your energy without adding value to your life. But whether they are loud or subtle, distractions or thieves, they steal your time, your focus, and your momentum. And most importantly, they steal your discipline. If you want to reach the highest version of yourself, you must develop the mental strength to kill distractions before they kill your dreams. You must become ruthless with what you allow to enter your mind and consume your attention. Because every second you spend on something that doesn't align with your purpose is a second you'll never get back. Mental discipline forces you to confront the truth. Not everything deserves your attention. Just because something asks for your focus doesn't mean it earns it. Most people allow the world to dictate what they think about, what they react to, and what they give their energy to. They wake up and immediately check messages, scroll through feeds, and jump into chaos. Then they wonder why their goals feel distant and their minds feel exhausted. Discipline breaks this cycle. It means protecting your focus like it's sacred. It means setting boundaries so your time is not invaded by distractions that offer nothing but noise. It means saying no, even when it's uncomfortable, because your future is worth more than temporary amusement. The disciplined mind doesn't chase everything that glitters. It's not pulled by urgency or controlled by impulses. It remains locked in on the goal, tuned into purpose, and blind to the distractions that derail average people. To live an extraordinary life, you must train yourself to live differently. That means removing the things that weaken your focus and surrounding yourself with environments that fuel clarity and control. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer distractions. You need to build a system where your time, attention, and energy are spent only on what builds your future. Because success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters and doing it without interruption. Consistency is what builds giants, not talent, not luck, not inspiration. The truth is, consistency is the quiet force behind every powerful transformation. It's not about showing up once in a while when it's easy or exciting. It's about showing up every single day, even when you're tired, even when the results aren't showing yet, even when no one is clapping for you. That's where discipline reveals its true power. Because consistency doesn't come from feelings, it comes from a decision, and the people who win in life are the ones who honor that decision day after day, no matter what. They don't need to be told. They don't need reminders. They've made up their mind. Success is built in the boring, in the repetition, in the habits that feel small in the moment, but compound into greatness over time. Most people fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they don't do it long enough. They quit when it gets hard. They stop when progress is slow. But those with mental discipline keep going. They keep putting in the reps, keep doing the work, keep showing up. Because they understand a simple truth: the results will always come, but only to those who stay long enough to receive them. Discipline is the bridge that keeps you connected to your goals when motivation disappears. You will never feel your way to greatness. You have to build your way there. That means being consistent even when it feels like nothing is happening. It means trusting the process when your emotions are screaming for comfort. Discipline removes emotion from the equation and replaces it with execution. It doesn't matter if it's hard. It doesn't matter if it's slow. You still show up. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you build something real. Every drop of consistency adds pressure to your potential until it bursts into results. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent enough to outlast your excuses. And that only happens when you build your life on the foundation of discipline. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn. And the way you earn it is through discipline. Most people wait to feel confident before they take action. But that's not how confidence works. Confidence is the result of keeping promises to yourself. It's the feeling that comes from doing the hard things consistently. It's built when you do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Discipline builds confidence because it gives you proof that you are capable, reliable, focused. You don't need external validation when you have internal evidence. That's the kind of confidence that can't be shaken. Every time you wake up and push forward when you could have made an excuse, you add a brick to your confidence. Every time you stay committed to a goal when no one else believes in it, you strengthen your identity. People think confidence is loud, but real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to be seen or heard. It simply is. It comes from within. It is forged in the furnace of self-discipline, where you face discomfort, delay gratification, and choose long-term vision over short-term emotion. The more you act with discipline, the more you trust yourself. And that trust is what turns fear into courage. When you break your own promises, even the small ones, you weaken your belief in yourself. You may not notice it at first, but over time, it erodes your power. You begin to doubt, you hesitate, you lose the edge. But when you stay disciplined, when your word becomes law to yourself, something shifts. You stop hoping for success and start expecting it. You stop looking outside for answers and start relying on your own strength. That's real power. That's what changes lives. Confidence that comes from discipline is unbreakable. It doesn't fade with failure. It doesn't crumble under pressure because it's built on action, not talk. It's built on truth, not appearance. And once you have it, the world responds differently. Not because you demanded respect, but because you earned it. The way you speak to yourself shapes everything. Your inner dialogue is the architect of your identity. If your thoughts are filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, your actions will reflect hesitation, weakness, and inconsistency. But if your mind is filled with strength, clarity, and conviction, your life will begin to mirror that power Most people are unaware of the destructive thoughts they allow to circulate in their minds all day. They tell themselves they're not good enough, not ready, not capable. And over time, those words become beliefs, and those beliefs become limits. Discipline begins with mastering this conversation. You must become conscious of the words you feed your mind and take full control over them. You cannot allow your mind to run on autopilot. If you do, it will default to fear, distraction, and survival. A disciplined mind is not passive. It is trained. It knows how to respond when doubt creeps in. It replaces "I can't" with "I will." It replaces "I'm tired" with "I'm not done." It speaks in strength, not in weakness. This isn't about pretending everything is easy. It's about refusing to give your inner critic the microphone. The thoughts you tolerate will eventually become your reality. That's why you must build the habit of speaking like a leader, even when you feel like a beginner. Discipline teaches you that your mind is not your enemy. It is your greatest weapon if you control it. You must learn to coach yourself through the struggle. When the world doubts you, your mind must believe in you. When failure knocks, your mind must remind you that setbacks are fuel, not final. This internal power doesn't come from motivation. It comes from training. It comes from choosing your thoughts the way a warrior chooses a weapon, with precision, with purpose. You don't need to feel strong to think strong, but if you keep thinking strong, eventually you will become it. That is the power of disciplined thinking. That is how you change your identity from the inside out. The secret to building wealth, success, and freedom is not found in one big decision. It's buried in your daily habits. Discipline lives in the smallest choices you make every day. What time you wake up, what you choose to focus on, what you allow into your mind. These things may seem minor in the moment, but over time they shape the direction of your life. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough, a lucky break, or some massive opportunity, but they overlook the fact that greatness is built by doing the right things consistently, not occasionally. Wealthy minds understand that their routine is their foundation. If their habits are weak, their results will be too. So they discipline their days with purpose. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. Your habits are either pulling you closer to your goals or pushing you further away. There is no middle ground. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you build momentum. Every time you delay gratification, you strengthen your future. But every time you give in to laziness, procrastination, or distraction, you lose ground. Discipline means refusing to let your feelings decide your behavior. It means choosing the actions that align with your highest vision, even when you don't feel like it. That's how transformation happens, not all at once, but one habit at a time. The world rewards consistency, not intensity. It's what you do daily that defines you. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. Start by identifying what you do every day that drains your energy or wastes your time. Replace those habits with routines that build discipline, focus, and strength. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Just take control of 1 hour, then another, then another. Build the discipline to command your day, and soon your life will follow. The difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't talent or intelligence. It's how they live each day. Discipline gives you the power to create habits that serve you, and those habits, repeated over time, become the system that builds your future. Pressure is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. It reveals who you really are. In moments of pressure, most people crumble. They panic, they retreat, they freeze. But a disciplined mind doesn't run from pressure. It leans into it. It uses the stress, the weight, the challenge as fuel. Because pressure isn't meant to break you. It's meant to shape you. The person who avoids pressure avoids growth. The person who learns to stay calm under pressure gains power. Mental discipline is what gives you that edge. It keeps you grounded when others are overwhelmed. It keeps you focused when the situation is chaotic. Pressure only becomes a prison when you haven't trained your mind to see it as an opportunity. Most people let pressure control their decisions. They react emotionally. They quit early. They lose control of their thoughts. But discipline flips that equation. It allows you to respond with strategy instead of emotion. It turns pressure into clarity. When the stakes are high, the undisciplined collapse, but the disciplined elevate. They see pressure as proof that they're on the edge of a breakthrough. They stay composed. They breathe deeper. They think sharper. Discipline turns discomfort into data, feedback to improve, not reasons to fold. The truth is, success will demand more of you than you expect. It will test your patience, your resilience, and your endurance. It will stretch you far beyond your comfort zone. And when that pressure hits, your preparation will be revealed. That's why mental discipline matters. It prepares you in the quiet so you can perform in the storm. It trains you to think clearly when others are panicking. It keeps your vision strong when everything around you feels uncertain. Pressure doesn't destroy disciplined minds. It refines them. It squeezes out weakness and reveals strength. It sharpens your focus and deepens your hunger. If you want to rise above the rest, you must embrace pressure. Don't fear it. Don't run from it. Use it. Let it sculpt you into the version of yourself that's capable of building a life most people only dream about. Mental discipline means thinking beyond the moment. It means refusing to be a slave to instant gratification, to the urge for quick results, or the temptation of comfort. Success is never built overnight. Wealth, mastery, and peace are the rewards of those who think long-term and act with unwavering urgency today. The mind that is disciplined does not get caught up in short-term pleasures or distractions because it understands one simple but profound truth: the long game always wins. When you delay the easy pleasure now for a greater reward later, you build strength, resilience, and character. You choose the harder right over the easier wrong because you see the bigger picture. Most people give in to the moment. They seek comfort, avoidance, and quick fixes. They chase highs that fade fast. That's why so many never reach their true potential. Their vision is clouded by impatience. But those with mental discipline look far beyond today, beyond this week, beyond this year. They think in decades. They plan in chapters. They know that sacrifice in the present leads to freedom in the future. This mindset creates power. It rewires the brain to resist temptation, to push through pain, and to keep moving even when progress feels slow or invisible. When you develop this long-term thinking, you stop being a victim of your emotions. You stop reacting to setbacks with frustration or despair. Instead, you see every challenge as a stepping stone on a much larger path. You remind yourself that greatness is not a sprint, but a marathon. And with mental discipline, you keep running, step after step, toward the life you are building. You don't need to feel like it every day. You don't need perfect conditions. You only need the discipline to keep your eyes on the prize and the courage to endure the wait. Because those who think long-term will always win the ultimate race. Mental discipline is not just about controlling your thoughts and actions. It's also about guarding your environment with the same intensity. The people you surround yourself with, the places you spend time, and the information you consume all have a profound impact on your mindset and your energy. If you allow chaos, negativity, or distractions into your environment, your mental discipline will weaken, your focus will waver, your progress will stall. Discipline means being ruthless with what and who you let into your world. It means protecting your energy like the precious resource it is, because your environment directly influences your ability to think clearly, act decisively, and stay motivated. Most people underestimate how much their surroundings shape their identity and future. They stay stuck in toxic relationships, noisy places, or draining habits because it feels easier than making a change. But if you want to build a disciplined mind, you must create a disciplined environment. Choose silence over noise. Choose solitude over shallow connections. Choose clarity over confusion. When your environment supports your goals, discipline becomes easier, not impossible. It's like fueling a fire. If you constantly pour water on it, the flame will die. But if you feed it with dry wood and oxygen, it grows stronger. Your environment either fuels your discipline or fights against it. Guarding your environment also means limiting exposure to negative influences, whether that's gossip, harmful media, or people who doubt your dreams. These forces chip away at your mental strength and distract you from your purpose. The disciplined mind knows this and takes action. You decide what you allow into your mental space because you know that your thoughts become your reality. You don't have to be perfect, but you must be intentional. Protect your space, protect your time, protect your energy. When you do, you create a powerful foundation where your discipline can thrive and your vision can grow without limits. Most people misunderstand what true freedom really is. They think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want, but that kind of freedom is an illusion, because without discipline, your choices are controlled by impulses, emotions, and external circumstances. Real freedom is the power to do what you must, not what you want, without being forced or swayed. It is the strength to delay gratification, to resist temptation, and to stay focused on your vision even when the easier path calls your name. Mental discipline gives you this freedom, the freedom to choose your path with clarity, purpose, and control. When you lack discipline, you become a slave to your feelings. One moment you're motivated, the next moment you're distracted or discouraged. You bounce between highs and lows, always reacting to the chaos around you. But when you build mental discipline, you break that cycle. You move with intention, no longer ruled by emotion but guided by purpose. You have the strength to say no to what destroys your future and the courage to say yes to what builds it. That is the kind of freedom that empowers you to create the life you desire. Discipline means mastering yourself, your thoughts, your habits, your choices, so that you are no longer at the mercy of external forces. This mastery brings peace. It brings confidence. It brings the freedom to live on your terms, not as a victim, but as a creator. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it, because when you have self-control, you unlock the door to your highest potential. You stop drifting and start steering, and that is the real meaning of freedom. The freedom to live fully, to achieve massively, and to become the person you were meant to be. Discipline is more than just a tool for success. It transforms you into the very essence of wealth itself. When you develop mental discipline, you don't just chase wealth, you become the kind of person wealth naturally gravitates toward. Wealth is attracted to strength, focus, and consistency. It seeks out those who have mastered themselves, who have built an unshakable foundation of discipline and purpose. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of countless small decisions, repeated day after day, that build your character, your habits, and your mindset. You don't wait for success to make you disciplined. You become disciplined so that success can find you. This kind of discipline creates a magnetic energy. When you are disciplined, you think differently, act differently, and carry yourself differently. People notice it. Opportunities start to open because your energy signals readiness. You become a force that is hard to ignore. You stop chasing luck or waiting for permission. Instead, you move with purpose, and the universe responds. Discipline turns your dreams into plans, your plans into actions, and your actions into results. It is the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become. The truth is, wealth is not just money. It is peace of mind, confidence, and freedom. Discipline builds all of this by shaping your thoughts and actions into alignment with your highest goals. It makes you resilient to failure and hungry for growth. And as you grow stronger in discipline, you realize something profound. Success is not a destination, but a byproduct of who you become. When you become discipline itself, focused, consistent, relentless, wealth stops being a distant dream. It becomes your reality. You don't have to wish for it. You don't have to chase it. You simply become it. And that is the ultimate secret to lasting success.